Oh, well that doesn't look great. Oh, I found a couple of chunks in there.
Well, this video kind of snowballed.
Actually, I need this thing in my hands too. Where'd it go? Oh no, it's on here. If you saw my last video, you saw that I was battling some issues with my fans turning on sometimes and sometimes not deciding to turn on. And I decided to mess around with it a little bit and I unplugged this. And I realized if I stick something in there, like if I stick like a connector in there, my fans turn on every single time. So I replaced this thermostat switch, and as soon as I did that, the bike decided it doesn't want to have oil pressure anymore. So today we are going to take the oil pan off and see if we can figure out the oil pressure issue. And I know I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to start the bike one time so you guys can see how it sounds, and hopefully also see if it was just a fluke or something and it was just some air trapped in there because it's been sitting all night. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe the air came out and the oil settled, but I'll start her up real quick one time. Yeah, you can hear that it's not getting oil pressure. So let's not start it again. Let's take this oil pan off and see what's wrong with it. There's a little bit of rearranging so I'm not sitting in the sun, but first things first, we gotta drain that oil. And the oil looks maybe like a little glittery, but not as sketchy as I was expecting if there's any like internal engine wear going on. So I don't think you really see it too much on the camera, but there's like a little glitteriness, but I can't tell if that's just from the pan that was already in there or not, because also it's only in certain areas. Like this spot looks pretty a little glittery, and then this is like clear. So I don't know. We'll find out when we take the pan off. So I also checked the oil coming out of the filter, and that looks probably even cleaner than the oil that's in the pan. So really just hoping it's some residual stuff that was in the pan. But like I said, we'll find out when we take the oil pan off, I'm sure. So let's get back to it. So to get the oil pan off, which is this entire lower piece right here, most likely going to have to take the headers off because they're going to be in the way. And to take the headers off, I probably have to move this out of the way. So I'm going to unbolt this little bracket that holds my radiator in place and see if I can just like tilt the radiator forward a little bit and see if I can get these bolts off for my headers by just doing that. And I very much don't want to take these off, to drop the whole radiator down, because they were not easy to get on, but it looks like I'm going to have to. So that's, unfortunately, that's something we're just gonna have to deal with right now. Well, I got it, but I tore my fan connection, so I'm gonna have to remember to rewire that back up. But we got the radiator out of the way. Hopefully I can get to those header bolts now, but it seems like it might still be doing. So you gotta do what you gotta do. Ta-da! I've been thinking about wrapping my headers, and now I actually get a really good time to wrap the headers since I have them all off. So maybe I'll do that. I don't know. What do you think about it? Put it in the comments below if I should wrap the headers. How about that? You guys let me know. Alright guys, moment of truth. Let's see what this oil pan looks like. Did I forget one bolt? Of course I forgot a bolt on the other side. Why wouldn't I forget a bolt on the other side? Didn't make this too easy, you know? If I didn't say moment of truth, I wouldn't have forgot a bolt. That's how that works. And oh, well that doesn't look great. So it's not looking metal flaky, but there's some couple of little chunks in there. I don't know if you guys can see. There you go. A couple of chunks in there that don't look too good. So I'm going to investigate that, and then we'll check out, look under there and see if that filter's clogged. Now, is this from just now, or is this from like break-in period a long time ago and this has never came off? Because I've never taken it off. So what I'm gonna hope is that there's one of these chunks in there, and then that they're from break-in period, and that they never came out, because were stuck in between like that little crack area, and we're unable to go out of the drain plug, the drain hole. So I'm gonna check this filter now. And maybe there's a little piece of metal stuck in there or something, and everything's good. That's the goal. That's the hope right now. There's definitely some stuff in the filter, but is that enough to clog it? I don't think so. So we might have some other issue going on here. There's definitely a good amount of stuff in this filter. I keep calling this a filter. It's a screen. But you guys sure know that. If you're watching this video, you probably know that this is called a screen and not a filter. But you know what I mean. You get what I'm saying. It filters the oil kind of through a screen. Everything inside the motor looks decent. I mean, there's a couple scratches on like this. I'm not sure what that's from. It's a little concerning. And there's even a scratch up there. I don't know how you'd even scratch that. But I can't imagine that was new. A couple weird scratches in here, that's for sure. But that's the oil drain, I would think. And then this would be the oil pickup. But I can't really see in there. So if you see anything in there, I don't think it's clogged. I can't imagine that that's clogged, that there's anything big enough in here. Even though those chunks were decently sized, I don't think they would get stuck in that. Well, I don't think there's anything clogged in there, so I might actually have a failed oil pump. I'm gonna have to figure out how to replace that. Hopefully not get oil dropped in my eye. That would be terrible. I can't imagine it would be that little piece got stuck or something. That would be too simple. That'd be too easy. We're still figuring it out at this point. And I'm starting to take the oil pump off, which is connected to the water pump. I'm not really sure what else to look at this point, so I'm gonna check that out and see if that's all good. Can't see why it wouldn't be, but you know, we're gonna check it out. We gotta do what we gotta do. We gotta fix this issue. Forgot to film it, but I pulled it off, and it looks good. I don't see any issue with the oil side of this. I mean, that looks good to me. That looks like it should be pumping oil. So, I'm still confused. Still don't really know why it's doing this. Maybe I'm just retarded? Maybe, I don't know. I gotta figure something out. I just filmed this, but my mic didn't work. But this is the oil pump. It doesn't look bad. Like, there's these marks on there, obviously, but it doesn't seem like that would affect it enough to make it not pump. Especially with like how deep it goes in there. And that's clean enough. I mean, it's not so gunked up that it would block it from pumping. And looking in here, in the oil pump housing, I don't see anything that like sticks out as like it would make the oil pump not work. If anything, it looks better than the pump itself. So I don't know. And it's a mechanical pump, so it doesn't make sense at all to me why it wouldn't be pumping. So at this point, I don't know what else to do other than to just throw the oil pan back on and start putting oil in it, and I don't know, get some fluids tomorrow and fire it up, see what happens. I mean, this video might just be me being retarded, and somehow I got oil or air in the system. And I did try to bleed the filter bleed method, where you crack the filter a little bit while it's running and then twist it back on to see if you can get any air out of the system, and it didn't do anything. So at this point, yeah, I don't know what else other than to just put some fluid back in and try it again. So that's where we're at. As I was looking through this oil pan again, I definitely saw, you can see some flakes of stuff in there. And I'm gonna guess that's bearing material. So I'm pretty sure my bearings are cooked. This video kind of snowballed. And we got another one. Now I have two 636s. This one should have a low mile motor. I just got it running like yesterday, so the motor's good on it. Ignore all the wiring bullshit, doesn't matter. It's got the tank, obviously, so I'm gonna probably swap that over after I paint it. I mean, the frame is pretty garbage. These motors are super hard to find. Plus, like I said, it has a couple upgrades I could use, so I got it for a good price. I mean, I'll have some backup parts. I get some good stuff to swap over to that one. So now we're gonna do a motor swap. I don't know how much of it I'm gonna film though, but we're gonna trying to get this done. I don't wanna take too much time doing this. one motor out. Just got to get this one out of the way, probably put it over there, and get that motor out and put it in this bike. All right, we got the new motor out. We got it over here. Now I'm just gonna try to make everything line up. Got to get all these engine mounts to line up, and then should be good to throw it all back together. We'll see, hopefully. All right, the motor's in. We got all the motor mounts basically lined up and bolted in, except for the fronts, obviously. And then I'm just gonna swap the stator cover, or the stator itself, because this one had some hard wiring to it that was pretty janky, so just gonna get rid of that. And then throw the stator from this motor into this motor. I made sure to clean this one out really good with brake cleaner because I really don't want to get sparkles in my new motor. And it's a good thing I checked it out too, because this stator looks pretty fried. Definitely glad I decided to swap this one out. Motor's in the bike, pretty much done. I want to clean up these headers so that they look new. So I gotta clean them up, coat them. And I also want to repaint this gas tank because we can't be putting no purple tank on our bike. No purple nurple over here. Polished up the headers with some wet sanding and then sprayed them with some ceramic coat. Just got them on the bike right now. Just gotta throw the radiator on there. And then I think I'm gonna hook my fan to a switch because I'd much rather replace fans than replace my motor again. So just got those couple things to do and then hopefully we should be able to fire her up. She has a couple of leaks in the coolant hoses, so I'm gonna have to swap. I got some brand new hoses. One of these is brand new, so I'm gonna put that one on there. Just some hose swaps left, and then I gotta put some HT Moto on this tank. But that's about it. We got it running. I'm not gonna bore you guys with that. Gotta end this video. It's been long enough. Put enough work into it. I really wasn't expecting this to be a whole motor swap and everything that it was, but you know, sometimes that shit just happens. And then the smoke you guys saw was just the ceramic coating baking into my headers. So don't worry about that smoke. If you got this far, leave me a like, leave a comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'm trying to get back to these moto vlogs. So I want to put the fairings back on too, but you're gonna have to wait till the next video for that. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later, player.